I think the UAP hearings with Congress are all about slowly rolling this out for the what we call normies. Like, I know everything they're talking about. You maybe know everything they're talking about, but and a lot of MAGA people and people that follow, this information, we already know, right? We know we've been invaded. Like right now, Cliff High is saying, "Oh, we're going to have an invasion today." He said today, but the reality of it is that we have been invaded for eons here on planet Earth. And we have definitely been invaded since the 1930s, since the abductions, the alien abductions of humans has started. And that's at least documented, right, since then. And Project Paperclip, where the Nazis were given technology and they were able to build the spaceships during World War II. And basically, then at the end of World War II, they were brought over to the United States and they worked for the United States and Argentina and had a base down there. You must know that, all that stuff. And Russians, the Russians have been working with them as well. And the Chinese, I'm sure. So this is what we're dealing with. We're in a space age, even though they don't let us see the technology like officially, right? They don't demonstrate it, but it's all out there. It's in the skies. So when you see UFOs, right, or UAPs, whatever you want to call them, they are ours and they are also the enemies and they are friendly ones as well. So you got a very crowded skies with craft from everywhere. And they come and go and they fight each other. The good guys are fighting the bad guys. And there is going to be an ongoing battle that we've had that has been hidden up to now, but it's going to be obvious in our skies and even in battles like, shoot 'em up kind of battles on the surface Earth very soon. In fact, again, going back to Courtney Brown and his remote viewers, they were told in these meetings they're having telepathically with ETs, a certain ET race, that once we got to this point where we are now, in 3 months would be the beginning of the war of worlds that is in our face, basically here on Earth. So they said it's a good thing because we need to bond with the good ETs to fight the bad ETs. And the bad ETs are not, it's kind of like, it's a way of looking at them. You say they're bad, but they're not like bad because you have value judgment. It's just that they want to eat us or they want to kill us or they want to use our and drink our blood and glandular stuff and all that kind of thing. So that's why we call them the bad ETs, because they're predators. We are prey to them. And that's how they treat us as well. And that's how they treat the enemy. Their enemy is these good ETs as well. So according to Courtney Brown and his viewers, they are shooting down good guys' craft all the time. So the crash retrievals are retrieving good guys and bad guys' craft, if you can understand. And so this is some of what's going on. It's the war has begun already. It's been going on for quite some time. I had a very special whistleblower who lived in Los Angeles, who was he used to be a DEA agent. He used to have a website called iPod.org. And he made the mistake, or maybe he did it on purpose, but what happened was he was filming the wars using, if you have special lenses, as you may know, you have night vision goggles or night vision lenses and other lenses, you can actually see the battles. You can see the UFOs coming and going all night long, and sometimes they fire on each other and all that kind of thing. Well, he was filming for many years, and he had tapes, old-fashioned tapes, like tape recordings from his house, which I think used to be down there near Malibu, all the battles going on. And he was saving all the tapes and everything. And then one day he went out, he left his house, And they actually took a particle beam weapon and they demolished only his house. So he was in, big palatial, beautiful houses, but all the ones around him were fine, except his was demolished to the ground. Then he moved into Los Angeles, into Hollywood, and he started filming again. And first they rear-ended him, like with his car, and then they killed him. And right before they killed him, he put onto the internet, onto his website, ipod.org, some of his filming of the battles he had filmed. He put some video up there. I saw a little of it. And so this was a fascinating thing. And I know I met with him in person. So he's not just somebody I talked to like online or something. I actually met with him in person. He's a wonderful man and very, very dedicated and smart about what he was doing. So that was like, I don't know, 10 years ago or more. So you have to understand where we are now. We're really advancing very quickly, but they don't want humans to know. They want you to only be as educated as they want you to be. So going back to the med beds, I don't think they want us to be, coming so perfectly strong with no aging whatsoever and all of that, renewing limbs that have been missing, taking care of all the sick people. Because if you imagine, we have the it's this Jim Morrison used to say, they have the guns, but we have the numbers. It's in a Jim Morrison, the Doors, a song. So that's like that's really where it's at. What they really don't want to do is make us more powerful than we already are. It's just that a lot of us don't know our power, right? So that's also part of the problem.
There's no any collapse anymore. There's no 3 days, darkness, 3 days, whatever, because crypto is up, the stock market is going up. So everything up after Trump, everything's going up. So what we expect now happen.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, with everything, especially the financial is the most difficult one to kind of characterize. Yes, and have a clue about, because I do have whistleblowers about that. I do know that the Illuminati even stated that they knew Trump would win and they had decided they're going to let him win. But what is going to be their tactic? Because they're not turning into good guys. Okay. And they want to run the financial system. Now, Trump recently announced he's not going to allow the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, to come to the fore. Yeah. So I know, because I work with Paladin, who's a white hat, who is a forensic financial investigator, who was hired and was a white hat and worked for them on the QFS many years ago. Now, some people are trying to say there's no such thing as a QFS. They're trying to say it's gone, it's a lie, or whatever. But I believe the reason Trump is saying he's not going to back the CB, central bank digital currency, is because they have already built the QFS, which is going to replace that. And so how it's going to come to the fore, how that's going to be rolled out, when, I don't know. It might not be for like a year or two. I mean, because there's going to be so much turmoil up to then. So I think a lot of this there's a lot of fear mongering out there saying, oh, there's going to be a sudden change, you're going to lose all your money and all that kind of thing. I don't think that's really true. It doesn't feel true to me. I think you have to safeguard your money. I think you have to have gold and silver. I think that's very good. I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you're going to be in a war. But at the same time, I don't know how it's going to play out, how it's going to transpire. Again, the money and the med beds are the two areas that are also completely, I think, in control of the off-planet race, the Anunnaki for one thing, as well as the secret space program. So how that gets, because again, if we are say we all got wealthy all of a sudden, well, we wouldn't need a government to tell us what to do. We still don't, but whatever. You know what I mean? In other words, that gives you, money gives you freedom to do so much that you can't do without it. Now you can do plenty of things. You can fall in love. You can have children. You can do a lot of things, but you can't actually, buy your way out of trouble, for example, like a Trump could do. Okay. So having wealth gives you power, a kind of a power. And so I don't think that they want humans in general to have that kind of power. And again, we're fighting more than one enemy. This is what I'm trying to explain. The enemy that we think is the enemy just on the surface Earth, which is dark magicians, the New World Order, those horrible old men, they're all old, that are, like dying anyway. In other words, what their plans are for us is not going to happen. They're wrong. They're not going to last. Okay. Now, what we really need to do and what Trump and his team need to do is negotiate with the people who are really running things under the ground and off the planet. And this is what they should be talking about, in my opinion, to the people, but they're not. Okay. I've written many articles. I've talked about this now for years and years and years, documenting what I'm saying here. And I, 107, who is the largest, the most front person they have, who is handling what you could call PR for the White Hats. He doesn't even want to talk to me. He doesn't want anyone else to talk to me because he knows I know the truth about the alien agenda and what's really rolling out here on Earth, and that they are actually the White Hats. When people say the White Hats are in charge, they are so naive. It's incredible. They are stupid. I'm sorry to say, they don't understand the really big game, what's really going on in planet Earth. But I think the White Hats want them to think they're in charge because that makes it seem like they're powerful. And they are powerful in a way. They do have a good military. They're trying to change the system, which is wonderful. And I'm behind them 100%. But I think you have to be honest about, where you're at and where we're at. Otherwise, you might get complacent. You might just think, okay, you can go kick back and eat bonbons or whatever you like, lay on the couch and watch TV and not worry about anything. But actually, we're in the throes of a revolution. It's a revolution of the world. The entire world is undergoing a complete revolution in the way they think, in understanding how humans have been kept in the dark and lied to all these years and tortured, forced to go to war, forced to die in wars, forced to fight each other, brother fighting brother, because divide and conquer is their way. So I think that these wars need to stop. I think that they are going to stop, but I don't think the alien human war is going to stop. I think that's going to have some ins and outs going on, right? I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know if it'll be very destructive. I know it has in the past. They have what is called the electric wars. Places like in the Middle East have been decimated, places like Amarna and various sites, Megiddo in the Middle East. Those are signs where previous wars, battles with ETs actually took place, not humans, not just humans. So this is what we're entering. We're entering a whole new world, whole new age.